take mine?
Well, somebody stole mine.
The agenda.
All right, accept the minutes of February 3rd and February 11th.
I gave him my copy.
Yeah, we did.
How you doing?
I wrote it.
You want to do it?
Oh.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
It's a combination of.
I need a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second, favor.
Because I have it.
Manifests of $428,188.76 dated February 4th, 2020, and $112,110.72 dated 2/11/2020.
So moved.
Second, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
And facility use is 4 requests. We can do them all at once.
Sure.
Okay, you make the motion?
We've gone all through these and it's a standard roll call, right?
Right.
Insurance and,
Yeah.
okay, I'll make a motion that we approve all 4, 4
Right.
facility requests for the dates they have requested.
Second.
Okay, we're in discussion. It just dawned on me, do we keep a calendar?
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep this all in my head.
Well, I'm just wondering, if someone could come in and say 6 weeks from now and ask for one of those days.
I have a calendar.
Good. Good.
Can we vote on it now?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we'll get to the agenda, the big 5 o'clock Fox Point discussion.
Okay.
Gentlemen, the dock master and Peter are here. Sir, you with?
Matt Carding, resident.
Yes, you have a boat down
I do.
there. I didn't recognize you with a hat,
Yep.
sorry about that.
Which one is yours? I don't have
It's
a
the
boat.
whaler, the 23-foot whaler, center console.
Okay.
Yeah, I just moved in there last summer.
Right, new mooring, right off your,
Yeah.
right behind your boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't
You
have a
don't-
boat,
you don't-
but I
you
go
don't-
down there a lot.
You know Peter Welch?
No, hi, Matt Carding, yep.
And Chip
Hey, how's it
Casetta.
going? I think we spoke on the phone one time, I think, or maybe
What's their last name?
Casetta.
Oh,
Did
yeah,
I call your driveway maybe?
maybe
One
once.
time when
Yeah,
you were building a house?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe,
Yep.
yep, yeah, the old post road.
Only telephone pole I ever backed into on that driveway.
So
Are you
it's
the
gonna
gentleman-
work out for you then.
Yeah, right across the street from your driveway, there's a telephone.
Yeah.
Are you the gentleman halfway up on the left-hand side that built that new house that has the barn offset?
Yep, yeah, the Dorothy Sargent
Yeah.
property.
Beautiful job. you
Yeah,
did.
thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, we put a lot of thought into it, so I appreciate that.
Did you do the building yourself?
I GC'd it, so I managed it. I did a few things here and there, but
Well, it certainly looks good.
yeah, I appreciate that, thank you.
Now that we got a house beautiful taken care of.
And I got a nail in my tie, no.
All right, what are you aiming for here now?
Now, one of the great things in Newington is the public dock and the ramps and everything else. And through the years, that was put in about the early 80s, because I've had a mooring down there since the early 80s, I know roughly, and then shortly thereafter, Peter's dad came in and put his mooring in there, so we've utilized it. It's been great, and as a overall, everything has gone quite well. But Peter, you had a new list of recommendations for facility use that we came up with.
Yeah, based on last year's misadventures, if you will.
Yeah, could we get a
Are
copy
you
of this?
still sick, Peter?
Yes, this is week 2.
Yeah, I know, it's hanging on.
Yay.
Yeah, give Emily one and Pete. You got one?
I got one that he gave me, but you know what I don't have is the one I gave you. Remember the original that was,
I have that on my car.
oh, do you?
Yeah, you
Okay.
want it?
Well, no, I mean, this covers everything that needs to be covered.
Well,
That
she's
was,
doing that, I'll go get it.
that
And
was
then we'll
just
have
kinda
it.
neat to see how things have evolved over the years.
Oh, the
it was-
original, going way back. I don't
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah, okay. I dug for it, remember I brought it in, we made copies of it?
Yeah,
The yellow thing?
not the yellow.
No.
No, this is going back when it was all built, so who was involved? Skip
Right.
Cole, Jack Hoyt, Bob Haskins, you had the whole thing.
It was basically the original intention,
Right. I don't have that, I don't
how,
have
how it
You know,
evolved
so
so much.
I'm sure we passed it out that night at the meeting.
It was a
So
good
we'll
read,
find it.
Yeah.
John Frank actually gave it to me, but it was
Yeah.
more or less how it started with, you know, there were 8 people involved, and now there's upwards of several more than 8.
At least twice that.
At least, yeah, and then you have people that aren't residents that are down there, which is an issue.
And we just got a request on a phone call, just 10 minutes ago, that somebody wants to see more kayak things.
More kayak racks?
Yeah.
Well, I would say that if we're gonna have if we're gonna have shared responsibility of the dock masters, correct? The new one, volunteering, should build the new kayak racks.
But they need the old master who they are
The
to
original
teach them.
plan.
He's out of business.
Yeah, there are still kayaks down there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they flip them upside down and keep them there year round,
Jeez, you could make a fortune for that space.
rent them out.
Yeah.
Man, I am glad that
Matt,
they're all used.
Ken made it.
No.
Yeah, I heard that,
With
yeah.
the other- With the other two,
Yeah.
that was like Mac and Maya, all 3 of us
Yeah.
working together.
No, we can look into that, but it's nice to see there's demand, people using it. That's-
Yeah, it works good.
There is. I had some concerns with some of the things that were going on, that we discussed already, and I think I remedied that.
Yeah.
I'm not positive, but as far as the lobstermen and the
Yeah,
gear and
because
the
there are
fish.
some
and-
people use it for commercial, and
and
that
that's
is not the intent, it's
Right.
strictly recreational. And I
Uh,
think we took care of that.
But it took you 2 passes for them to understand.
Took several passes,
Mhm.
yeah.
Understand, help me out.
No, there were at least 2 occurrences with the lobster pots.
We'll
Yeah.
line the dock, and there
Yeah.
was bait on the dock.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then there was another instance of, a beautiful Saturday evening where everyone decided they were gonna move the party from the boat to the end of the dock and basically abused the privilege. There was booze, there was little kids from other boats trying to get through and onto their, you know, and it was just, and I talked with them all, and, you know, not that I have a leg to stand on, but I felt as though I was backed up by you guys and the police department at that point, but it
Right.
was just, not clear as to what is accepted and what isn't.
Well, hopefully, if you
This,
said
this
this
clears it up.
and
You think there's a deep
it makes
connection?
you the authority.
Well, and that's it. I don't know how that actually works.
I don't know, I just wrote it in there.
To that point,
Which one are you talking about?
Well, it says that the dock master is the authority.
and with that being said, not to turn into, for lack of a better term, a babysitter, not that anyone would require that, I would welcome the help with whoever else wants to, that's down there more often than I am, to help with that.
Well, I think one of the things we talked about, and if this is agreeable, that you and Peter would co-chair, co-dock master this. If that.
I would love that, I'd love the help.
Right, good.
All right,
Um,
Yeah,
Oh, a tag team would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I have resources to fix things.
Right,
I don't necessarily, nor do I want the resources to enforce, you know, that kind of behavior and be the guy that people call when something's not right down there as far as other people using it. I think there's a host of issues that down the road should be addressed, or at least looked at with the town, with the selectmen. And I know it was recommended years back, and for some reason it got shot down, I'm not sure why, but when you come in and register your cars, if you know you're gonna go boat next year, I had this crazy idea of just a 50-cent decal with a number on it. You get that at the town clerk's and stick that on your boat. Now that's guaranteed that there's a resident that's there, and if the boat's sinking, or if they forgot to put their name on it, or what have you, it breaks loose, found in the bay, call Newington Town Office, right? Run that number, you know who it is. You know the boat belongs there.
Right in that line, your first number one, that is limited to town residents and their guests.
Yes.
I would then take the step forward to ask, what if the town resident says to you, the guest, it's okay, and the town residents nowhere to be seen?
Accompanied, I think it was actually originally worded that it would be, town residents and guests, and it was somehow as long as they were accompanied by a resident or something.
Yeah.
Well, I have no problem with that, but I think you should put that language in it.
I can do that.
Well, Pete, stop and think, you don't wanna, that would eliminate a lot of discussion.
Absolutely, and so that goes with, that makes whoever's enforcing this, if it's the dock master, the co-chair, whoever, that's that much easier to enforce it, I think, right?
Yeah.
There's a sticker right there. A lot of people don't like writing their name on the side of the boats anymore, I get that, and, you know, the sticker might solve it, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but,
Look into that.
well-
Where do you get the decals done, Alan? There's a lot of.
Great Bay Marine is where all the boat registries.
No, this is this is like, I think he's talking something like you put on your car.
I mean, you can go anywhere, we can do it for projects that we, for work, you can just get a special decal made up.
yeah.
Just some simple graphic design.
Oh,
yeah.
just sign.
Basically, the exact same thing
Yeah.
as the town resident stickers.
Right,
Yeah.
you could just order them, we could
Yeah.
make it up and order.
And whatever the cost is, if it costs, 75 cents or $1 a piece to make, $5, charge $5, and put that in the kitty. Because then, if it's 20 people, it's $200 or $100, whatever it is, whatever it comes out to, get a load of gravel to shore the walkway up.
Yeah.
Or put new handrails up, or fix a wheel on a gangway, there's something there, there's a little bit of money for kind of supporting this thing.
The big complaint I had just at election time last Tuesday,
I was there,
you were there.
yeah, we heard
A
some of
lady
that.
came down, she had broke a hip last year, her husband, they have a boat. And she had a hell of a time going up that walkway, which really gets washed out all the time. And Lenny came in, and Chip and I talked, if they build something there so it doesn't get washed out, have to build some sides, it's just
Yep.
something.
Without
Because it
getting
is,
into
with
a
little
shoreline,
kids running up and down, it's kinda
stabilization
scary
part.
too.
that's what I said, explore it without trying to, get within the tidal buffer zone and require
Oh,
a
yeah.
permit.
Yeah,
That's a whole big can of worms now. To that point of what that woman said at election night, all these marinas now, because the Coast Guard are required to have some sort of notices up and security. This being a at-will, pass at your own risk, access to the water isn't a secure facility. But proof of insurance might be something to look at down the road. For the simple fact that if someone were to sprain their ankle because we just had 3 inches of rain and the dirt washed out, or fall or break a leg, or if a dinghy or a gas tank fell out of the boat. I own a pier in Newcastle, and I require the people that tie their boats up there to provide proof of insurance that includes a liability policy and pollution. That's the big one. If there's a gas tank with gas leaking out of it and the boat half sunk and there's fuel running around the water, the town of Newington is responsible for that cleanup, not the boat owner.
I was gonna say, going back to my years of school, we can't aggregate our responsibility. The town is the town, and they would buy the goods that would come along with any penalties. So how would that protect the town if say Peter's got all this insurance, but your boat sinks, all the gasoline and everything comes out and hits the shore, it would still be ultimately the town's responsibility, wouldn't it?
A lot of times the company, insurance companies involved they'd subrogate it among themselves.
Right.
You
Or
know,
we
sort of
would
like
bill
an
the insurance
accident.
company, we clean it and bill the insurance company?
It, basically, it would turn into a nightmare with insurance companies and ultimately what I find with boats, anything to do with boats, whether it's commercial ships or two fishing boats on a weekend, someone will delegate the blame. Some percentage of the blame is gonna go to everybody involved.
Well, yeah.
Whether it's the guy that tied his boat next to him, the piece of wood on the dock that failed and the boat broke loose, it got hung up onto the dock at low tide, you know, a host of different things. It's something to just look at, or if nothing else, make sure that the town is
Protected.
protected.
What about, you couldn't make it as simple as a liability waiver?
I-
Like if they were to receive a sticker, have a liability waiver drawn up, have them sign it to receive the sticker. But that way it releases the town and puts the onus on them.
That's like when you go skiing, ski at your own risk, but if there's something wrong with the lift, you're still held responsible. So if something was
Right.
wrong with the stairs or with the.
Yeah, I mean,
dock or
it's town
something,
property, the town has an
town is
obligation
still on
to
the hook.
provide, if they built it, they'll come, right? So the town has an obligation to provide a safe ramp,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Well, I know when you rent the halls, right?
Yeah, you gotta come up with insurance policy.
Correct.
Right now, yeah.
You come up with insurance policy.
That's a good idea.
I hate bureaucratic red tape and BS, but it may be something to protect the town, that's all.
Right.
Now, how far does the Coast Guard go up? Do they go up to
Yes,
Fox Point?
Their jurisdiction is,
federal navigation.
just beyond Adams Point. That's the
So they
last
were telling us,
navigation.
somebody was telling us this fall, they only come up, the fire department says that they only can come up as far as the General Sullivan Bridge.
I've seen
I've
them.
seen them.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
have
Great Bay.
also.
Yeah, up in Great Bay, and I think your Chip is right, that it's the last Coast Guard buoy, which is a green one after you go
That's
past.
Adams Point.
Just about up to Nanny's Island.
Yeah, right, yeah,
Yeah, where the,
yeah, okay,
yeah,
Marine Patrol can.
yeah.
Marine Patrol
They
is,
go
you
into
know, they go
Newmarket.
up to Newmarket,
Yeah.
right.
I haven't seen them in a year.
I think someone said, stop ruining these propellers, so they were told to stay down below the green.
Keep out the mud flats.
Yeah.
Keep that old library.
No, I don't wanna beat the dead horse, but something to
No,
look
that's,
into for the town.
that's an excellent point, and we can look into that and discuss it, see how we can do that.
Oh,
And
Peter,
it's not the resident you have to worry about, it's the resident's guest that got off the boat after a very long day in the air show and they went bar hopping by boat.
Yeah.
That goes up and breaks their leg or falls in the water and God forbid something worse, you know?
Right,
It's your property.
well, Peter, thank you for sharing the job with Chip, because now Chip will stay around and we'll have Peter and things will be much better.
I think too, that if anything gets out of hand, you shouldn't address it, I think it should be a call right to the police department.
Yeah.
If something is, you guys don't put your, no.
Well, no, I mean, we will ask them to correct whatever the behavior is, and if they don't, then we will call Martha. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Or we could call the police chief.
And last year it didn't get to that. It almost did.
Yeah,
It
well,
almost
two
did,
weekends,
it did.
yeah.
But, you know,
You nipped it in the bud both times, that it was starting to get out of hand, and appreciate that.
Well, the police are very good too about
Yeah.
making rounds up there during the day, every day, several times.
Probably before the season started, might be a good idea to have you two with the chief of police and the captain sit down and talk, just so if there's anything does come up, or maybe with the fire department, because they have the ambulance service in case it's needed.
Yeah.
Just to see what, just so we're all on the same page.
Would it be worthwhile to take the rules, the regulations that you have and put it on a format that's waterproof and stick it to that tree, either to the right or to the left.
Someone kept taking a
Going
picture.
down the
They
hill.
were stealing them left and right
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
Put them up today, come back in the evening, they were gone.
So, I mean, it's a
We
great,
can put her on that cabinet that's at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but taking that off,
it's a great facility that people really, really enjoy for the most part, and it's an awesome thing to offer to town residents.
It's a great feature, it's a great
It's
thing.
It was a major draw for me when I
Yeah, absolutely.
like looking to move, you know, put my sights on Newington
Yeah,
because of that.
yeah.
But that being said, it's a privilege that everybody, you know, has, almost everybody has respected and adhered to and helped out and volunteered. If you do the sticker thing, you hand them a copy of these. And right at the bottom of it, it says that, you know,
Make them sign it.
a violation of these policies are subject you to, you know, losing your privilege to access.
Moving out of town on the rail.
Is that too harsh, you think? I think that's great.
now that we have Starsky and Hutch.
Matt, you see anything on there,
I like the idea of the stickers, I think that's a good idea. It's clean and simple, and that way, you know, just like any other marina, you know, the marina has record of all the boat owners. You know, they have the record, they actually do have insurance, a lot of them require insurance. If any of us see something wrong,
Right.
we can call the town can go, all right, it's dinghy this,
Yeah.
owner, and there's a contact or an email or whatever, and it's easily solved that way, and it holds people somewhat accountable.
So the sticker would go on the dinghy, not necessarily on the boat,
Right,
right?
Yeah.
right.
The one that's on the
I mean,
boat.
like, on mine, I got a little plaque to put on mine, so,
Yeah,
and a lot of
I like
people just take
Yeah.
a felt pen
Right.
and write it on and scratch it.
I mean, I think the rules say even before your dinghy had to have your name on it, which, you
Yeah.
know,
Name and
provides
phone number, right.
some means of getting in touch with you, but,
Yeah,
you know, I don't like writing on my dinghy, I didn't, you know, I honestly didn't even bother this past year. But, I mean, every marina requires a sticker. Every marina, I mean, you know, Wentworth, they all have stickers for their dinghies, so I think that's a great idea.
good.
And make it a yearly thing, you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
for the
it's a
season
good point,
2020.
register your
And I
car.
like that, you know, $5 in a boating season, I mean, you're gonna lose that
Right.
in a heartbeat, so.
Right, yeah.
To have it create a little bit of a kitty for small maintenance stuff, I think have a little bit of a slush fund, I think it's a small price to pay for that luxury.
So are we going with stickers, and I can
Yeah,
add that to this?
Yeah, why don't we leave this for a couple, do this, put the
Yeah.
stickers and everything we've suggested. Leave it open for a couple of weeks, so people who didn't come tonight can
Okay.
review this and get back to us, and then we'll finish it up, say, in the March before we get going, and have a final thing and kick it all off that way.
Okay.
With this
And then we
included,
can put a copy of this on a newsletter, and star out.
You may have a lot of opposition to the stickers. I know there was a lot of people that, for a reason, what was the reason before why they didn't want stickers? Someone said it, and I don't remember what it was, but
I haven't heard.
I don't know. But it would do two things. It would generate a little bit of a slush fund, like he said,
Yeah.
for the property, and then hold people accountable for making sure that it's residents' boats there and that they're following the rules. You don't get the sticker without this.
now, anything on the rack, the kayak rack, or if someone makes a new one,
Same deal.
excluded or included?
Included.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's good, because last year, I think I saw like 3 of them tied outboard on the right-hand side, which was great, but
they were all full of water and going down, and you're trying to pull them out, and you want to touch, and they got a lock on, so you can't really pull them out.
Kayaks belong in racks, right?
Yeah.
Racks are for kayaks.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess we could add that to
yeah, I would say that's it,
kayaks and rack.
right.
Well,
And
with
then-
that, you have, the
Peter, you're
little-
cutting down a lot of trees, so you'll have plenty of wood to make the racks.
and sailfish too, there's a couple little, sailfish that were up there, you know, the sailboats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Anything
could probably
else?
cross out item 6 if you're gonna add the stickers, which says all dinghies shall be clearly identified with the owner's name.
Or with town issued sticker annually.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, then we we get into a selection, if you put your name on it, you don't need the sticker?
And I would do the sticker.
I do the sticker,
And
cause
if
yeah,
they don't put your name on it, it's on.
way to get $5.
Just a suggestion that hopefully Lenny will do some improvements to the road at the access and to the, down to the ramp down to the, because we really need some diversion
Right.
berms. If, you know, don't plow it during the winter, make the berm out of dirt, at least to start with, then we don't have problems with timbers in the middle of the road.
Well, I think
Because
what
we
we do,
need to divert the water before it gets down to the walkway.
right, Pete, what I'd like to do is now that we get this kind of rough, if you and I, Chip, or one, could sit down with Lenny and Martha and go over this, what we want. And,
Yeah.
Because we have, Chip and I initially hit Lenny on it, when the lady brought it to our attention.
Yeah, I mean, and then we can build a dirt ramp out of graded base or whatever.
Yeah.
And without it washing out
Right.
every rainstorm.
Yeah.
There's plenty of places to divert the water to in the parking area, cause that's nice, big rock,
Right.
and will take a lot of water.
Anything else you wanna go over?
Is there a direct means of communication to the dock master? Like, is there like a dock master at Newington email address?
No, it's
Wow, this is really.
Just because
what's your email address?
No, I'm not saying give your
No.
personal email address, but there could be, you know, a dock master email address.
Martha
In the event
forwarded
that there's an emergency, well, okay, so it goes through.
Martha's
Just now.
forwarded my email to several people over the summer, and I get the emails and
Yeah,
respond in somewhat of a timely fashion most
well,
of
it
the
just says
time.
like an emergency, like last summer, there was a guy who, he had an emergency situation, tied his boat up at the dock, he wasn't a resident. And, you know, it'd be, if we have, I don't know if we post these rules out there, but if we do post these rules, we should have maybe an email for that person to just fire off an email to that person.
Yeah,
You know, maybe not a phone number, or the town's phone number and an email.
No,
So now that person says, hey, you know, my boat's out here, it's gonna be here for 24 hours or whatever, until I can get it towed or
Yeah.
fixed or whatever. Even, I think I had a situation where I had to leave it there for 6 hours.
I think I had probably 4 or 5 calls last year where they said, my boat's broken.
But how do they have your number? They call the town,
Martha.
okay, if it was a weekend, I'm just thinking if it's,
Or
You know.
people that, you know, see Lenny and say, who's the dock master, Chip, you want his number, sure, and not the most effective way probably, but.
no, that's what I'm getting at, if we had like a postage of these rules with like a harbor master email address, that gives direct communication, whoever the harbor master is can pass along the password, the login of the email, and they can go on that way. This might be another
Yeah.
more effective means of communication.
All right,
Right now.
we'll work on that one too.
In these rules, it says the boat can only be left there for 12 hours. If there was an emergency.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if
I
you
mean,
drift
then,
over a
I
little.
mean, they can negotiate beyond that, but it does not seem to me that it should be any longer than that. I mean, we aren't gonna leave him there for a week while he
Right.
tries to fix his own boat or whatever.
Let's work on that, get back to it. We got other things on the agenda, not to rush, but appreciate you two heading it up. And Matt, thank you for coming.
Yep.
And give us any feedback that you have. And,
Appreciate it,
yeah,
I love it so much. It's sick kids at home, so.
okay.
Peter's
Yeah.
design for the kayak rack is very simple, I'll ship that off to you.
Hey, Matt,
Okay, next, we have Jack O'Reilly here on election. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. I think I've met you once before.
Yeah.
Went around
Next week.
to your house and
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
oh, you're welcome.
More in progress. Always, now I just gotta keep it up.
Yeah, I met the new pilot. Now,
Jack,
Oh, yeah,
go ahead.
thanks, guys.
Go ahead.
So the check is our money.
Starting you off with the good news,
Thank you, Chip.
all right, was that, if you recall, for the primary, there was a authorities you need it for, the state constitution requires you guys, the selectmen, to be in the voting area. It does not apply to town elections. So
Say that again,
there's
please.
no requirement for selectmen to be in-house or in the polling area for town elections. It's nice, as it says, if you read it, if someone's available, but there's no, it's not mandatory.
Available, but not have to be.
Yeah, you can, if
100%
it was, right, I mean, for the primary in November, September and November, yeah, that's closest federal, state elections they call them. But town elections is not, it's not required.
We will have a selectman here at all times.
Yeah, which is, it's preferable or nice to do that if you
Right.
can. Okay, so I went to that moderator training again this year, and that's probably one of the best trainings I've ever gone to. There's probably 80 to 100 moderators there from all over the state, non-SB2, these are just the regular ones. Some newbies, some people have been moderated for 30 years. It's been, in fact, one of the towns, the governor of Florida came in and said, maybe you could come down to Florida and help me figure out how to straighten out our elections. So,
We've never had any hanging chads in New Hampshire.
yeah, no, I'll tell you, this is the safest thing we've got. So I just had a couple of things that came out of that I thought I'd try to
Appreciate it.
I'll let you know tonight that, you know, what could have been the next meeting, whatever. One is the town attorney. Do you plan on having him at the?
Yes.
Yes,
You
Yeah,
will.
the
You
what?
say you don't have
Town
him, it's a
attorney.
good idea.
at the business session of the.
Yeah, okay.
We have
I'm getting wind that somebody may want to, for one of the warrant articles, do a PowerPoint. It's legal, it's allowed. I'm gonna suggest that if I hear about it, they come in the day before, make sure it works, rather than right in the middle of it in the meeting. Who would they contact, Martha? Who's you're the techie on that? Okay, if they wanna do it, I'm not sure it'll happen, but. Okay, you know about the 10% rule, you can't go over 10% over what's planned. Does somebody keep track of that? I think you
Finance
do.
director,
The finance person
Cindy,
does?
yeah, Cindy Sacklet.
It's unusual, I don't
Yeah,
think it happened in
really.
all the years here.
We have to be, it's an $8 million
800,
budget.
yeah,
It has to be $800,000.
What's that?
It's an $8 million budget, so it'd have to be a
It'd be a
$800,000.
pretty big increase,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't see it, but
I've never seen it, and I don't think it'll probably happen this time, maybe other towns, that's a problem. The only way a meeting, and the only meetings moderators allowed to reschedule is town meetings, not federal,
Right.
not state. And have to go by the National Weather Service. So if we're looking on Monday, Tuesday maybe, blizzard, we'll consult, we'll talk, and, maybe I think you have to move it 2 weeks. So you may do the voting ahead of the business meeting, which doesn't affect anything.
If that were to happen,
Yeah.
do you send out like a town-wide alert on the
We
town
have to,
email?
yeah, probably put on the sign and.
And mail something
As a
to.
matter of fact, we're the school districts, we're all in one district, we're even supposed to talk to the moderators for the town, although I know at least one's in SB two. You guys ride. So, we'll take care of that.
I know in 17, which is the last time I ran,
Yeah,
the election got pushed off because of a blizzard.
did it actually get rescheduled, or they
Yeah,
just do a lot of
Thursday.
absentee?
It pushed it from Tuesday
Oh, that's
to
right, too.
Thursday. Tuesday,
Yeah,
and we had the regular session on that Saturday.
Yeah,
But,
the Secretary of State had all been out of
Yeah.
shape.
Oh, yeah, that's
That's his job, well,
Yeah.
they passed a state law this year that allows, at least for
Right.
town elections, the moderator to do it.
Right.
So we'll be, obviously, the communicate if we need to. Okay, if we need to, it'll be, like I said, if it's a business meeting, we can reschedule probably a week, the next Saturday, I think, my guess. That's called a business session now, by the way, that's new this year.
Right.
Just for info, and I've already told Laura, people can register to vote at the ballot day, but not in business day, not Saturday. No one can come in on Saturday and say, I wanna vote on a warrant article, they can't do it, if they're not registered already.
Has to be done on that Tuesday.
Yeah, they can
The
do
tax.
that, Tuesday, yep.
Yeah.
I suggested to Laura, when I suggested, last year, we know the cards we hold up,
Yeah,
don't use the same color 2 years in a row, cause someone can take them home. Give them, that's what they were, you know, they worry about the smallest thing, so I don't know what she's gonna do, but,
Can you tell us what color we used?
I think she was green last year.
Okay.
It's a light green and I still have mine.
See? How much is it worth to him?
It's out of the bag.
Why would anybody want them?
I wanted to.
This one is really, really weird. This has been around for years. No one's ever really talked about or even realized it in the town. But once you start voting, you can vote warrant article number 1. 10 articles later, somebody can make a motion to reconsider. Get a second, if it passes, you go back and redo it again. You can get to warrant article 10 and someone can make a motion, I wanna reconsider 1 through 9, and you're gonna start all over again. So.
It has to pass though, you just don't make a
Doesn't
motion.
matter. Well, it has to be, yeah, it still has to pass.
You know, I mean, it's just,
What this is for is sometimes you'll get like the library one, let's say. Everybody brings all their friends in to vote on that and then they leave.
oh yeah,
Okay, they're all gone home. Some week later, on, I wanna reconsider it, now they get to try it.
Yeah.
So what towns do, you can make a motion after every vote to, what's the word, restrict reconsideration, which means it freezes the vote.
Right.
Okay, which we may wanna get, a lot of towns do that, we may wanna,
yeah.
because otherwise you could go crazy.
Yeah, all you have to do is ask for a reconsideration of the vote
Yeah,
that was just held, and it
Exactly.
goes through that.
so, we'll prime somebody to do that this year, because we never done, I'd never even heard of it, in all the years I've been covering it, so.
Now, right along with that, Jack, if someone were to ask for a vote of reconsideration,
Yeah.
they would have had to have voted in the affirmative.
I think by Robert's rules, they would have had to been voting with the winning party, yes.
Correct.
Right, you are correct. That really doesn't get enforced too much because there's a Robert's rules, which we're really not under. So if somebody wanted to do it, and got enough people to say yes, we'd probably let them do it, but that would be rare. Now, the only exception to that, at the end of the meeting, if there was a warrant article, the town voted to restrict reconsideration, they brought it up again, they said, but warrant article 8, I wanna make another motion to reconsider. If that passed, we have to meet 7 days later and go through that warrant article again. So,
Say that again.
okay, so let's say, the fire truck, or whatever, the fire, building, okay, that gets passed. We vote to restrict reconsideration, all the fire department friends go home. At the end of the meeting, Joe Smith can stand up and say, wait a minute, I wanna vote to reconsider that article, even though we already voted to restrict it. They can do that. If it passes, we have to meet 7 days later and revisit that warrant article.
Oh, I mean, that's not good.
That's not good. Sorry, so I may, probably when I do the moderator's rules, explain this situation, because we don't wanna be stuck. Not so much the last one, but the other ones that, why we may wanna have a vote on restrict reconsideration after every money vote. Like I said, I've been coming to farming for 40 years, never knew about it.
Jack, if you're gonna do that, I'd suggest that you do it with an exclamation, and maybe a
Oh.
sheet to hand out, so that people who come in late will
Yeah.
know they will at least have.
Yeah, I'll read it as part of the rules when I
Yeah.
do all the rules at the beginning.
Right.
Okay, so I just wanna let you guys know what we found. The other one is, I think I sent it on the attachment, is called electioneering. It happened, probably not a town meeting, but you cannot, nobody can wear any
Right.
political stuff on them, like a pin, a hat, a t-shirt that is for some candidate. I couldn't wear both the 10 corners into the town vote for election because you're on the ballot, or vote for me. Even more so.
Yeah.
Now, you as the moderator control that.
That's exactly right, but if anybody sees it, because I'm up on one end and people come in the other end, I'm just gonna ask, anybody who might notice, I'll ask the ballot clerks too. To let me know, I mean, if any, like, there was a guy this past last week, was it already? Wore a MAGA hat, and they told him, you can't wear that, he got so mad he left. And another moderator, some young college girl, cold out, t-shirt, both for Bernie. Somebody pointed it out to him, so he went down and said, sorry, you can't do that, well, she's not gonna turn her shirt on in public. So he said, yeah, wear my suit, put my jacket. So she did. He looked up, she was sitting writing out the new voter registration form without the jacket on. He went down and she had gone and turned her t-shirt around, inside out. He realized later his wallet was still in that jacket. The money was still there. So, I mean, we do have a clear off to, if somebody really wants to be on the hard about it, we'll take care of it. But just something to keep in mind. I don't expect it, maybe November, September, November, just a long range thing to think about.
Thank you, Jack, appreciate this, bringing us up to date.
Yeah, so that's-
Very good.
I think
Next,
it'll
we have
be very
Chris
water.
Cross.
Chris
Chris,
about it.
All right.
So I told you, you take 2 by 6 off the pressure treated.
Yeah.
It's really little rubber.
talk, what are we going over? What are you bringing up?
Will that,
Um,
so he drives over.
I wanted to talk about.
I'll take a piece of,
No,
Nope.
not, we're against housing, but right now, it's before the planning board is handling it. The, selectmen have not been asked to be party to any of this, some of it, so we're doing our own research and that's the way it is. I don't wanna get into the middle of a housing
Sure.
discussion right now because it's too premature.
Not here by the planning board.
I understand. You want
And I just had the feeling that you wanted to say something other night, but for some reason didn't, or ask certain questions, so. I've been, as you know, I've been on the planning board for 25 years, and housing is something I've watched,
Right.
particularly with the Rockingham Planning Commission for decades. And I'm a little concerned this year, and I've been to all the legislative sessions over in Concord, talking about the committees that approve it, the streamlining of the approval process, a lot of different things that is going on, the different compositions of the state boards, and the real focus by both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party to expand housing of every type and every size and shape in New Hampshire, because there's a shortage, not unlike around the country.
I think we're aware of it, and we will sit down with the planning board in due time on this,
Sure.
but at this time, I'm awaiting the results of the studies that are being done and what is being done, and I'd be happy to talk with you at that time. This
Great.
time, I think it's too premature
Sure.
for that, if you don't mind, Chris, and thank you
No,
very
not at
much.
all. I just thought you might have some questions as to why I thought that this is something that we would need to do. What I saw in Concord, I wrote up some minutes of the different meetings I've been through and what the points they're trying to do. And you may have it because it was handed out to the planning board at the top of the mic. He probably copied it.
I didn't get a copy, if you don't mind, I'd appreciate you having a copy. I don't know if you have a
It's
single.
just it's my interpretations of the RPC meetings, and the other meetings, just of the bills that are going through. It's a summary. It's my own personal estimation of what I heard in looking at the bills. I did testify in a few points before the committee, based on not representing the town or the planning board, but just as an individual, having been a selectman and a member of the planning board, and a member particularly of the RPC, because they, at least once a year, there's some sort of meeting that involves training on housing,
Right.
so that kind of thing. But if there's anything that can provide, not as planning board member, just as an individual, thoughts, began to give them reasons why I thought that was important, and thought that might be useful, because I think.
Well, I appreciate this outline, and we'll
Sure.
read it, and we'll be sitting with the planning board or somebody sometime along the way when the big discussion of housing comes out.
I would also like to add too, that on election day, someone asked me, why are we, the selectmen, opposed to the housing, the workforce housing? And I said, that's not the case at all. We haven't said anything. We haven't been included at all, and that we're doing our due diligence,
Sure.
and we will, as Ted said, get together.
All I can do is say, I'm willing to talk anything I know of. If you wanna bounce that off?
Right.
It's-
And we appreciate that,
it's-
and we will discuss it with you, but we wanna get our
Sure,
stuff in order too before we sit down.
sure. If you want
That
to know the
should be
basis why I think certain areas are best examples, why I think where housing fits in our development principles.
I don't wanna get into it right now,
Okay.
because we're gonna do this all over again with the planning board and with other people, and I'd rather have everybody here
Sure.
listen to it at the same time, Chris. Not that,
Okay.
I'm not shutting you off, but as Ken said, we're in favor of workforce housing.
Right.
And we will work with the planning board and come up with a plan.
So to me, it's just a matter of finding the right place for it, because I like to look and want to see development of all sorts that follows the ordinances.
And if there's a reason to change the ordinance, then we'll go to the town and we'll vote them.
I would concur with you, because we do not wanna bastardize the town in any way with the housing or any other.
We're lucky to be here.
That's right, that sounds right. Okay?
Good.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
absolutely.
No business. Red Pointy Company dog events.
We've had a request for a private, group to rent the old town hall. They would be sponsored by a town resident. But this is a new frontier for us in that, a commercial group would be renting the old town hall and having, dogs, at this event. We have a statement, the event would take place both inside and outside the town hall. Dogs would be leashed at all times, and owners will of course be required to clean up after their dogs. We'd likely have 30 dogs there, though this is an estimate. What would happen is each dog would remain in their car, and one at a time, they'll come out and participate in a search. Eleanor, can you talk about the kind of a search?
Right, so this is just like a sniffing exercise for dogs, and it doesn't involve any drugs or drug paraphernalia, it's just essential oils. They basically hide something soaked in a scent, and then the dog comes out with its owner on a leash and tries to find.
This happens outside or inside?
Both.
So the town currently requires, they're looking at the old town hall, for a commercial group to come in, a rental of $300 for an event. And I just wanted to run that by the board because it's a new area for us. We didn't want to assume.
I just had a couple of questions. First of all, initially, I think it's fine, but I did wanna make sure that all animals that come are up to date with all of their shots, including the rabies. And you've already spoke to the insurance. You've also talked about they must be under control and cleanup. So I don't think we left anything out of that. You think so, Mr.
I
Chair?
think you covered it quite well.
I'd be interested to see how it turns out.
Yeah.
If I could just say one thing, is I've actually taken a class from this woman. She doesn't even know who I am when I've been corresponding, but I took my dog to one of her classes, and she is very much in control of the situation at all times. Cause I went to a grumpy dog class, and my dog doesn't like other dogs, and I was very nervous.
Because of the dog or because of you?
Grumpy only, and I was amazed. She is really quite fascinating. Yeah.
Good, thank you. You make a motion?
So moved that we allow this with the stipulations that we had listed.
Okay. Second, all in favor? Okay, so vote. Old business. Plow truck bids.
The town received 2 bids, one from Old Neat Stuff, $3,632.12 for the 97 International Plow Truck, and one from Matt Scruton of Rochester for $1,227.50.
Make sure we get the 12 cents
Yeah.
now. So that's kind of a unique bid. Any discussion on that?
Who, I can't read his writing, who is the high bidder? Is it Asian?
Asian Auto Services,
Plastow.
right, Old Neat Stuff is
Old,
the
neat.
name of the company.
Well, the truck will find a perfect home then. Well, want a motion?
Yeah,
I would make a motion that we approve the bid from the Asian Auto, what is it?
Service.
Services,
a Plastow.
in the amount of $3,632.12.
Thank you.
That's the motion, I'll second it, all in favor, discussion,
Aye.
it's a vote.
There had to have been some logic behind the 12 cents.
I know, I can't
What
think
is
of it,
that?
yeah.
You're trying to beat out someone.
Leave it 3632.
All right, now, last thing on the agenda is, on the old business, is the Frink Farm Hannah Lane drainage.
Yes, and I understand our town engineer and Selectman Latchaw and John Frink met at the site and reviewed the
We
drainage
were waiting,
situation.
yes, and Eric met with us and he said that he was gonna go back and redraft his letter after walking the area.
I might even have that. Can you go over this over expenditure and give me the keys and all? Let's see, what else can I?
Well, I mean,
I don't know which one.
I don't think we need it.
I don't think we really need it, I think what we wanna do is do it. It's
Okay.
been a nuisance that have been
Right.
for
Now,
years.
the question is, I thought the town workers could handle that situation easily.
And I believe they can from what I've heard.
I know.
Would you check with Lenny though, so that,
They can't shoot a grade, none of them, I asked that question, nobody can shoot a grade. And that's a lot of grade work,
well,
and it's easy work, but
I still have my height stick and I still have a tripod. If I have to, I'll go out and shoot a grade for them.
well, I think, I just assume, we're gonna do it right, I just shouldn't have it done professionally. I mean, but I can go, I think it'll be done, and we wanna disrupt we're gonna be on a lady's land, if we tear it up, let's do it. I don't think it's more than a day's work or 2 days work, right?
I don't think so, but it's really
Yeah,
minor.
I know,
And if they pour water out of a bucket and see if it runs downhill,
I could say too that probably the road agent would be thrilled to have someone else do it, given his workload, if you wanted to. Whatever
I'm
you
not
wanna do.
opposed to that, I was just thinking,
why don't we,
It's
before
not
we
a
make a
big
final
job.
decision, see if we can get some quotes on it, and then we'll take it from there. How's that?
that's fine.
Okay.
And then I think also throw in the mix too, Lenny's reaction.
Will do. Got it.
What else do we have to do with
Just one more thing, we're trying to wrap up the housing study for the commercial property, and we have 2 bills that are going to hit the planning board budget in 2019. So we request that the planning board budget be overspent by $440.81. They plan to use legal services, oh, you have it in the back pocket of your binder.
Yeah,
That's what that is.
This just came to late today, but they plan,
we
we
gonna
were
cover
going
this?
to use the town's legal services, which was,
Oh, what's that under?
I think the bottom line of the planning board budget was going to be
Okay.
overspent.
Okay. I'm
$440.81.
Right,
It just came to light now?
right, when we were completing the request for the 2 housing study contractors to be paid.
I don't have any problem with it.
We didn't wanna touch this year's money.
Though I guess my understanding is the work was completed in 19, so we have
Oh,
to pay out of
okay.
19's
So
budget.
That's fine.
that's different, yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
And did they, we haven't, should have asked, the motion,
I'll make a motion that we approve the over expenditure in the planning department in the amount of $440.81 in 2019 fiscal year.
second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Vote. Oh, is there any, do we know when that study will be available?
I believe it is available, but I haven't, I will call the planner.
I would
Have you seen
ask,
it?
No, I haven't seen it.
I would ask that when it's available, there be a copy be given to the town administrator and the selectman's office the same time
Planning part.
the planning department receives it. The same time.
All right, anything else on the agenda? Anything wanna come up? Emily, you're the last one here, you got anything? Thank you, Emily, for your dedication, you did a good job.
When